Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning or good afternoon or good evening. It depends what time is it now at your locations. As you see to my right, my name is Kamal FAHSSI. I was born and raised in Morocco. I migrated from Morocco to the United States in the year of 2000. I became a U.S. citizen in 2006. Today I'm here trying to reach out to the international community, to the people of the world. Same people who still believe in equal rights, justice, and freedom to all humankind. I'm hoping that this message will find a listening ear from each and every one of you. Governmental organizations, non-governmental organizations, human rights defenders and watchers, journalists, people of the media, people of the social media, people who still believe that this world can be a better place for all of us. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here today to talk to you about the dark side of Morocco. That side where 80% of the Moroccan people live. But before I start, let me tell you this. Morocco is a nation ruled by a monarchy. Not the same monarchy you might be familiar with in the UK, Holland, Sweden, Spain, or Norway, not at all. This is a monarchy that resisted time. This is a monarchy that refused to evolve. The monarchy in Morocco means one man is ruling, the king. The tyrant king. It's a tyranny, it's a dictatorship. And yes, they do have institutions, what they call democratic institutions. They have a constitution. They have over 40 political parties. They have elections. But believe me, all of that is just a bunch of trophies hanging on the walls of the many mansions and many palaces owned by the ruler king. Yes, his name is His Majesty the King Mohammed VI of Morocco, who has been ruling since 1999. The man who costs the taxpayers and the broke economy of Morocco over $250 million a year. He's really known for scandals more than he's known for good things. He was involved in 2013 in one big scandal that you might remember, or not. When he granted a pardon to the Spanish Daniel Galvan. Just put Daniel Galvan in Google and you will find out about this atrocity that he committed. This is a man who raped 11 children under the age of 14. And he was convicted by the court. And then after a year or so, he was given a pardon. He was granted a pardon by the King Mohammed VI. He fled back to Spain. And when the news became international, Mohammed VI tried to backtrack his decision, but the scandal was already out and was known to the whole world. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, again, this ruler tyrant king will be involved in another scandal. This scandal was on the pages of the newspaper, the famous newspaper, the French newspaper, Le Monde, about an account opened under the name of His Majesty Mohammed VI in the HSBC Bank in Switzerland. This account was involved in money laundering or helping rich people dodge taxes. And yes, again, another scandal. This time is a corruption stated by WikiLeaks when the king used his assistant to extort a businessman, an American businessman who was trying to invest in real estate in Morocco. And again, another scandal, this time again made public by WikiLeaks, when the King of Morocco was involved in the Panama Papers, when he used an offshore account to buy a luxury schooner dating back to the 1930s, that he's changed the name to El Bougaz and still owned by the king, the King of Morocco. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is a king. This is a one-man show. He's ruling, and he's also the most successful businessman in the nation and also in the continent of Africa. Actually, since 1999, the ruler, this tyrant ruler king, was able to multiply his fortune, his known fortune, by 10, by 15, but also his underground fortune by maybe 100 times. This is the man who has his hand over all and every single resource of the nation. This is a man who has been classified, ranked among the 5 richest people of Africa. This is a man who still practices politics and business at the same time. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, This is the ruler king, the tyrant ruler king, who's getting richer and richer while the Moroccan people are sinking into poverty, into deep poverty, into prostitution, into drug abuse, into pedophilia, rape, religious extremism, in all kind of social. This is a king who established himself a god, a nation, and also ruler of Morocco. This is the ruler who assassinated freedom of speech in Morocco, cremated it to make sure it's not going to resurrect. This is the king who has been ruling the country with an iron fist. There shall be no opposition in Morocco. The left, the right, the socialists, the Islamists, the liberals, all of them are made by the king and they work for the king. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, today journalists are being arrested, they're being detained, they're being accused of crimes that they never committed. We have journalists who has been convicted for 20 years of prison with an accusation that has nothing to do with the reality. We have Washrin doing 20 years. So he's a journalist doing 20 years in prison now. We have Omar Radi and we have Risuni. Both of them are waiting trial with an accusation of actually rape or sexual content accusation, which was fabricated by the Ministry of the Interior that works under one of the most known psychopathic persons in the history of Morocco, who works directly under the orders of the ruler king or the ruler tyrant king. Instead of encouraging college students to achieve academically, now instead of that, the ruler king decided to arrest, to condemn and to convict young people in college just because they don't share the same political views as his regime. We have people like Yunus al-Msiyah, who's doing 14 years sentence now. We have Hisham Boulef doing 15 years sentence now. We have Al-Qasim bin Az doing 10 years sentence now. We have Abdul Wahab Ramadi doing 15 years sentence today as college students. And we have many others that I cannot cite. Yes, this is the same tyrant king who decided after 2016 when the authority crushed to death a fisherman who was named Muhsin Fikri in the region of the Reef in a city called Al-Husima, which resulted on an anger among people. So young women and men went outside, flooded the streets to protest, to asking for justice for the fishermen, but in the most civilized and peaceful ways. This manifestations or protest started having demands and building new demands and very fundamental demands, such as hospitals, such as university, such as the development of their region that has been marginalized and discriminated against since 1958. Of course, the ruler tyrant king decided to face them with violence. Again, causing the death or assassination of one kid aged 18, Imad al-Attabi. Kidnapping people, abducting people, torturing people, in some cases raping some of these people, especially one of the most known leaders of the movement of the Reef, known also under the name of Hirak of the Reef, if you want to check it in Google. And he was actually tortured and he was raped during when he was detained by the police of this ruler tyrant king. These leaders, they were convicted to 20 years, 15 years, 10 years, hundreds of years actually were distributed over dozens of detained people, young people from the Rif region. We're talking about a dictatorship. We're talking about iron fist dictator tyranny. This is not a regime that should be still surviving among us in the 21st century. So today I'm here to ask you to help us stop these tyrannies, bring justice to the Moroccan people. And also we're asking you to ask all the politicians, and especially in the United States, we're asking you to write to the elected President Joe Biden, to write to the White House, to the Congress, to the Senate, to your congressmen, to your senators, asking them to overturn the deal that was made between Trump and this tyrant ruling king about the Western Sahara. You don't want that the people of the Western Sahara join this massacre that has been systematically conducted against the Moroccan people. You should ask him to overturn that deal, because that deal not only violated the international laws, but also was made between two tyrants, the almost king Donald Trump and our tyrant ruler king Mohammed VI. Thank you for listening, and bless you all. Thank you.